Welcome back. One more thing before we get to the standings, the teams in baseball and everything, going back to college, how we started the other, not softball this time, but down to 16 teams.
Yep.
And a lot of upsets. And I'll tell you, I am always, and this is what I wanted, and you were talking about the officiating and the umpiring, I am always, and I can no longer say always, but as a student, you hate Tennessee and you hate Georgia and you want to see them lose. Once you're out of school a bit, you become an SEC fan. And people sit there and talk a lot about the SEC, but I think it makes the Gators look good when those other SEC teams. However, I don't think I rooted as hard for anyone as I have for Missouri State after what the Arkansas officials did.
What happened?
You see,
I know they finished at like 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning.
They finished at 3:10 local time, 4:10 in the morning Eastern time. Okay, it was the night that Florida beat Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
And when the game ended, they cut to the Arkansas-Missouri State game, which was like in the second inning. So Missouri State.
You sure it was the one the night we won or the night we lost? It was the night we lost. Wasn't it Sunday night? Because they ended up playing again on Monday.
They played the next day. They played on Tuesday. They were the only team to play on Tuesday.
Okay.
Because they had to finish. They had one rain delay already. Okay. So Missouri State was in the winners bracket. They had already beaten them once. They're beating them again. Okay. And it was 5-3. And then at about probably 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, the game goes into a rain delay. And they're rain delayed for over an hour and 34 minutes or something like that. And the dudes on SEC Now sit there and say, well, probably what will happen is they'll get together at 10 in the morning and finish this game. And then if Arkansas can somehow pull it out, they'll play again later at night. Okay? Because there's no way. And then they started talking about the conditions of the field. And it had already been raining an hour before they pulled the tarp out. And the field was completely unplayable. After an hour and a half, at 1 o'clock in the morning, they decide they're going to resume the game. Okay? The Missouri State, the field is just terrible. They're arguing and everything like that. They go into the top of the ninth inning. Arkansas is down by a run, has a guy on third, and it's monsooning. And it's
raining again now?
Oh, it's just monsooning again. And the dude lets go a wild pitch because the ball just slips out of his hands. Arkansas ties the game. They're playing. I don't know how it was just and the Missouri State guy. This is where you sit there and you're waiting for a guy in the post-game press conference just to go off, and all he said, "You saw it, you saw it." What did you say to the umpires when you can ask them? You saw it. Would you have played? I mean, it was just. Well, the next day they came back and they won, and they wound up winning, and it was so deserved because they had every right to win.
Here's the deal, though.
4:10 in the morning Eastern time.
But here's what you need to know.
In the rain.
Here's what you need to know, though. It is not the Arkansas staff's call. There is nobody on the Arkansas athletic department has anything to do with it. There is a person assigned.
However, the NCAA person is sitting there talking.
No. It is all the NCAA person.
He was on the field.
The local person has he can't tell them we need to stop this.
Well, we'll look this up because
there's no need to look it up. I'm telling you, I've had this argument before with people.
So how can the guy in Kansas or whatever?
It's not the guy in Kansas. There's a local person sent by the NCAA.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. And that guy's on the field.
That guy's on the field.
And he's
the one that made the decision.
Totally agree. But
you can't blame Arkansas for that.
No, because the problem is he's there, okay, and he's discussing what's going on, and then the Arkansas people are selling. No lobbying goes on. No lobbying goes on. No, I'll show you. It was lobbying.
You can lobby, but it's not their decision. It is the decision
you're right.
of the NCAA rep.
You're right.
And the umpire. Once the game begins, it is the umpire's call.
The umpire's call.
The umpire's call. Now
and
the umpire.
They're sitting there in their meeting, and the Arkansas guy is sitting there going, "Let's get it over." I mean, let's.
The umpire. Well, here's the other thing you often don't think about, but we had to deal with that when we played Washington here for a super regional game in softball. We had the same thing. 2 rain delays. Game was supposed to start at noon. It finished at 1:35 in the morning the next morning. Okay? There is NCAA rules about the time limit that you have to get it done.
Well.
And here was the problem. Let's say they didn't do that. Let's say they didn't play it. They didn't try to finish it that night. I'm not saying they should have because I didn't.
It was monsooning again.
I didn't see
the
it.
field was unplayable.
All right, so I'm not saying that, but the NCAA rep, you gotta get in his mind, his or her mindset as well. They're sitting there and they're on a time limit. They have to finish it because you know what happens if you don't finish?
You play the next morning.
No, you don't play the next morning. Let's say they play the next morning, and the next morning it's raining, and they can't play that morning, and they can't play the next morning on Tuesday, and the weather forecast is calling for rain, and more rain. Guess what ends up happening? A coin toss settles who goes to Super Regionals.
Really?
50-50 shot. So the guy in charge of it is trying to get it finished.
Yeah.
Oh, he got it finished all right.
Now, whether he made the right
and it pushed
choice,
another game.
whether he made the right choice or not, I'm not going to say because I don't think he did because you got to take player safety into account there, and it clearly, from what you're describing, wasn't safe.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is a very difficult time when you have time limits like that on the series. You can't postpone. You can't keep postponing it forever. Sooner or later, you have to move on because you have to play other games the next weekend on a time schedule. So
Well, let's talk. Albert Pujols.
I'm glad it worked out
600
though for Missouri.
Albert
Yeah, me too.
Pujols hits his 600th home run.
Yep.
The Angels are hot. They've won 4 in a row. I think the Mariners have won 8 out of 10.
Something like that.
4 in a row.
Is it?
Yeah,
They
4 in a
won
row.
4 in a row, 8 out of
think so,
10.
yeah.
Yep.
Doing well and everything. And they're tied for second place right now.
Right.
Only 13 games behind Houston.
You called it. I mean, this is your thing. We got to give it to you. The man called Houston early on, and barring a collapse of epic proportion,
But they're young. And they were young last year, and I think the youth came out, but they were so talented last year.
Oh, yeah.
But now they've got that year of experience on top of it.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat.
they are going to be very difficult to knock off. I
The
think
guy-
unless two of
Well,
their guys get hurt, Keuchel goes down and
Correa and Altuve, and the guy that's shocking, and I mean is Springer.
Yeah.
he is having a year.
He's having a heck of a year. Well, they all are offensively. I mean, they're averaging
Well, they're
about
playing-
6 runs a game.
And they're playing in a dome stadium, right?
No,
No.
that little Minute Maid.
No, it's not Dome Stadium, is it?
It's not
I
Minute.
think
is
it has a
Minute-
retractable top.
Enron Field when I was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What happened to Enron?
I don't know.
Oh, they wrecked.
They crashed. Yeah, it was. But Dallas Cooch will leading the league in ERA
It's
and
retractable.
wins. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's retractable.
No, it's retractable. It's not.
Yeah.
So it's retractable. So same thing with Miami, right?
Yep.
Do you find it ironic or slightly coincidental that the team we talked about in the first half, who's hitting all the home runs in the National League, and the team that's hitting a lot of home runs and winning a lot of games, have these retractable roofs?
See, I totally. I'll tell you, and it's like
Control the weather.
got-
You never
got-
have to play in a day when it's too hot or too cold.
one of my son's teammates, okay,
Tampa Bay?
hit 10 home runs in high school this year, 3rd in the state of Florida. You know, just phenomenal year, and you saw him play. I mean, he was. Are we allowed to mention youth athletes? Joseph Strong. I mean,
sure, I
JoJo
guess.
uncommitted.
Unbelievable.
If you're a college coach out there, look at him. I mean,
Yep.
he's a pitcher. Defensively, gives 100%.
Now you probably crossed the line there, but
No, I'm just helping him out
Yeah.
as far as. But he's playing travel ball. Hit 10 home runs this year, 3rd in the state of Florida, and you know Danny and a couple of the other guys on the team, you know, all added about 8 more home runs. They hit 18 home runs as a high school team. Oh well, the fence. They took down the tall fence, the big monster in left field, and everything like that. And same thing you're saying. Oh, the Marlins and the Astros, opposing teams against Gainesville High School this year hit 0 home runs. So if one team's hitting 18 and the other team is hitting 0, you can't tell me it's the field. You can't. I mean, those other teams are playing the Astros in the Astrodome. Those other, and not in the Astrodome.
yeah, but they don't play them every week. They don't play every game. They don't play half your games there. You don't tell me that a right-handed hitter is going to hit more home runs at Buchholz than is going to hit at GHS.
Have you seen? And I don't know if he's leading anything wherever.
You're not telling me that
Dallas
that it
Kutchel,
doesn't-
Dallas Kutchel. So you got Kutchel, but you know who else is Tampa Jesuit? Lance McCullers.
Does it not matter if you're playing in Boston with a monster there? Does it not change?
Well, I saw JoJo hit one, and of course this is high school ball, over the center field fence, which is elevated, and it landed over in
I'm not
Dixie
not-
County. I mean,
I'm
it was
not-
No,
ridiculous.
it landed between the pitcher's mound and home plate of the softball field.
It was ridiculous.
I'm not arguing whether or not guys have a great year or whatever. I'm talking about as a team that has to you get to control some of the environment that determines where balls fly or whether balls don't fly.
Sure.
Yeah, and basically
But
how your
that-
team is designed. I mean,
Yeah, that,
And you build your team around your ballpark. So that's the way you do it. And yeah, every other team gets to play there too, but they don't get to play there as many games as you get to play there.
so they're 42-17 because they altered their ballpark.
Who?
The Astros.
No, the Astros are 42-17 because they're a really good team. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm not saying that you can't be a bad team and just hit more home runs than everybody else. But if you're a good team and you're playing in those environments,
You're right. Giancarlo's
Home run
probably
times.
Giancarlo's probably real happy he's playing in Marlins Stadium.
well, he'd be happy playing anywhere because he's a great player. It's not
450.
Giancarlo. It's the other guys who are hitting 16 and 17 that you worry about. He's going to get his no matter where he plays.
See, I just think that
You think about people that hit home run that goes 330 feet and guys that hit one 400 feet. They count the same, right?
right.
But a guy hits one 400 feet even in a non-controlled environment. If Story playing in Colorado, for instance, if he hits one 400 feet in Colorado, it might only go 380 in a sea level stadium, and it's an out. So 4 or 5 of those a year, you look a little better.
well, a guy that's been hitting them all over in every field, Aaron Judge, right now. I mean, he's got 18 home runs. Do you see him? And it's a little early still, but Rookie of the Year. I mean, the American League.
Oh,
How could
would
he not be?
Yeah,
If he doesn't get hurt, who else?
And exactly, and he's hit.
Took the
he
top
came out of
off
nowhere.
Gary Sanchez, didn't he?
Quickly.
Yes.
Who's the Sanchez character
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, the light's completely off Gary Sanchez. But the
I'll
Yankees
tell you,
are in
I'll
first
tell you,
place.
and it's
The
funny.
Yankees are in first place? No way.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they're 1 game ahead of Boston.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of, and we went and saw him when A-Rod was here in Gainesville. Mm-hmm. And what do you recommend? They said, what was his advice for what the Yankees need to do?
Go with the youth.
You may not win right now, but there's some really good players. There's some really good players, and he
Apparently they're
he's-
winning right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're winning.
So they're in first place. Was it
Minnesota's
Minnesota?
in first place.
I just have my eyes dilated, so it's
in the
hard for me to read
AL. I mean,
stuff.
Minnesota's in first place.
It's very bright. I'm looking at
The
Halo.
Cubs have come
But
back.
Cleveland's made their way back in.
Yeah.
Chicago, the Cubs have made their way back in. The Nationals is who we'd be talking about if the Astros weren't doing
Yeah.
what they're doing.
And in Toronto, I know 2 or 3 weeks ago they were 14 games out. Now they've cut to 6, and they're in the, at least there's a race
5
in
and
the AL
5.
East.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, in the West, in the NL West, I think all the teams are 10 over 5. I mean, they're all playing really,
Yep.
really good.
If you think about it, if you're the Yankees, not the Yankees, but if you're the Astros, you play 500 ball the rest of the way.
It's yours.
It's yours.
Yeah.
They're not going to catch it.
Yeah. And you just got to do that. I mean,
And same-
remember the Giants last year,
same
and then
thing
they
for
were the
Washington.
worst team in baseball and they just barely hung on.
Yeah.
No, same with Washington. You're
Same
right.
with Washington. You just play 500 ball the rest of the year, you win.
But again, I said it just a second ago. The Cubs now are tied for first place in their division with Milwaukee.
With Milwaukee.
And Kyle Schwarber's not even hitting the ball. I mean, the guy last year who was everybody's golden boy, he's not even. He's 162 right now.
What did he hurt last year? I forget
I
what
don't
he
remember
hurt.
what he hurt.
Was
His
it
leg. It was his leg.
something
Because
his
remember,
leg,
he
right?
couldn't cover.
Right.
his
He
pride
couldn't
right
play
now.
defense because he might turn real quickly or
Was
something.
it,
It was a
knee
knee.
or, and you often wonder about those when people ask, do injuries carry over?
Yeah.
They do, because they change the way you stride, they change the way you feel comfortable about torquing and stuff, and it can affect your swing.
But the Cubs have won 5 straight.
Hey, way to go! What about your Cardinals?
They're not playing well. Last night they gave up 4 home runs to Scooter Gannett.
Yeah.
And you give up 4 home runs to a guy named Scooter. Scooter's supposed to be a
Little quick guy.
He's supposed to be a quick guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave up. They lost they're not playing well. I mean, they got Carpenter there in the 3-hole. They really don't have any. They've got young guys, and the young guys just aren't doing it, and they don't have any veteran leadership. They got rid of Matt. Maybe they should have paid Holiday the money.
Probably should have.
I mean, look what he's
Where is
doing
he
with
at?
the.
Where's
The
he?
Yankees, he's helping Aaron
helping
Judge.
helping those young guys.
You know,
I mean,
sometimes you just want to be that guy just to say, yeah, there you go.
Told you so.
well,
Should've paid
and
me.
a lot of times,
Should've paid me the money.
with the veterans, you sit there. Well, the skills are declining, but you've got to remember those type of veterans add so much more to the clubhouse than what the skills.
Sure.
If you got young players who can put up some numbers, and you want to keep a veteran.
I mean, look at David Ross last year.
hey, yeah,
You know, did he tear it up?
yeah,
No. You know,
but he helped them.
but the presence was,
And they loved him.
and that's what Holiday's doing, and that's what the
Hey,
Cardinals
you
don't
know,
have.
David Ross had 100 home runs quicker than any other Dodger,
Remember that?
and then went just south.
Yeah.
Just didn't hit anymore. And they asked him about that, and I heard him the other day. He said, "Well, the league figured me out pretty quick."
Well, we'll see. Hey, this weekend, if you're in a college town,
That's still
one
playing.
of those 8 teams that are hosting,
Come to
catch
Gainesville.
yourself a game. I mean, if you got nothing to do in Gainesville, 3:00 in the afternoon on Sunday, I'm sure
Come on
it'll be
out.
nice and cool out there.
Yeah,
Same time on Sunday.
yeah. Saturday,
You
Sunday.
have a super regional in Gainesville, Florida, and you do it
Hey.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday again.
Softball started at 3:00, 2:00 on a Friday. They're number 1 overall seed in the tournament, by the way. They were 2:00 in the afternoon on Friday, noon on Saturday, noon on Sunday. So don't give me this 3:00 stuff. Hey, if you get a chance, come out and watch it.
Play ball.
Thanks, NCAA. Have a great day. Play ball.